So today we're going to learn how to type in mixed numbers and fractions on the TI-30XS calculator, along with how to transfer between them. So we have some mixed numbers here, and we want to type these in on the TI-30XS calculator, change them to the reduced fraction, so it's an improper fraction, and then also to get that decimal value. So if I go to the calculator here, I have that it's a mixed number. So if you notice, there is this n over d button, which is for a fraction, but we have a mixed number. So above it in green, it says u and then n over d. That's what we're going to use for that mixed number. So we're going to do second and then the n over d button, and it pulls it up for our mixed number. So then we can type in the 1 and then hit the right arrow, type in 2, hit the down arrow to go to the denominator, type in the 3, and then hit enter, and it will transfer it to an improper fraction, so 5/3. And then if we hit the toggle button, it gives us the decimal form of 1.666. So 1 2/3 is equivalent to 5/3, which is equivalent to 1.67 as a decimal. All right, so now if we do 3 1/4 on our calculator, again, we need to hit second and then the n over d button. 3 1/4 is 13/4, or as a decimal, 3.25. So we get that this is equivalent to 13/4 or 3.25. All right, -2 3/7. So again, second, then the fraction button. Now the negative is the one in the bottom that's in parentheses. So -2. And then right arrow 3, down arrow 7, enter, is -17 over 17, and the toggle button tells us it's a -2.42. So we have -17 over 7 and -2.42. All right, next one we got is -6 1/2. So again, calculator, second, that fraction button. -6, right arrow 1, down arrow 2, enter. We get -13/2, which if we use the toggle button is -6.5. And then finally 4 2/5. So again, second fraction button there, 4, right arrow 2, down arrow 5, enter. So we get 22/5, hit the toggle button, and we get 4.4. So 22/5, 4.4. So again, you're going to hit the second button, then the button that has the n over d, and then type in number, enter, and then if you need to get it to a decimal, you're going to use the toggle button there to get it to a decimal. So that's how we type in our mixed numbers on our calculator. So now if we go ahead and we do fractions, we're going to take the fractions and we can see if they go to an improper fraction. And if they don't, then we just get the fraction to go to decimal form. So the first one we have is 1/3, so we're going to use the n over d button there. 1 and then down 3. Now to see if this goes to an improper fraction, we got to hit the second button. We got to first do the right arrow to get out of the denominator. Then we're going to hit the second button, and then this one next to the fraction button that says times 10 to the nth power, and it brings up to where it says that we're changing it to from a fraction to a mixed number. Hit enter. Now 1/3 does not go to a mixed number, so we leave it as 1/3, but if it was like 5/3 and we did second and that times 10, enter, it would give us that mixed number of 1 2/3. So instead, we just want to go ahead and take this 1/3 and get the decimal by just hitting enter. And if it gives you the fraction, remember, just hit the toggle button to get it to decimal form. So 0.33. All right, 3/4. Now another way by looking at your fraction to tell if it will go to an improper fraction is it will only go to a mixed number. It will go to a mixed number if your numerator is greater than your denominator. Otherwise, if your numerator is not greater than your denominator, then it's not going to go to a mixed number. So 3/4 is not going to go to a mixed number, so we can use the fraction button there, 3, down arrow 4, and hit enter, and then toggle to get 0.75. -5/7, since 5 is not greater than 7, it's not going to go to an improper fraction, so we're going to type in negative. Then the fraction button, 5 down 7, enter, toggle, -0.71 if I round it to 2 decimal places, -1/2. So again, you've got to type in that negative first, then the fraction, 1, down arrow 2, enter, toggle, -0.5. And then the last one here, 4/5. So again, fraction button, 4, down arrow 5, enter, toggle button, 0.8. So you're going to use the N over D button and the toggle button to get it into a decimal. If you want to change to a mixed number, which is the U and then N over D, you're going to first use the N over D button, put in your number, then hit the second button, and then hit the times 10 to the N button, enter. And that will change it into that mixed number. So that is how you use your TI-30XS in order to type in fractions, mixed numbers, and change between them and change them to decimals.